So we've actually reached the car park at Dulles. It says even at this time of year there's a few people out here rolled down from the main road. This is that little toilet block I was mentioning if you get cut short. And we're just going to carry on now around this corner. We're going to cross over a little stream that comes down from the hills, runs into the sea, which I'll highlight in a second or two. But it's going well so far, and we'll press on. So you can also see that this is a National Cycleway number 5 as well, which is telling us that it's 2 miles to Abergele, which is, I guess, the next town come village that's where you could get a tea and food and that if you want to. Here's that stream come river that comes down from the mountain. It's quite low today because I think the tide's just running out, so you can see that the water's heading away from us. We're going to cross this little bridge. You can see the cyclist in the distance, and then we're going to go underneath and around that headland where you can see the nice caravan lodges up on the top there. This is just me being me, but where the shade it still exists and the sun doesn't come around, it literally is a line where the snow and the ice from last night hasn't gone yet, so I can hear it crunching under my feet now, so just be careful. This is a nice little scenic caravan site, lodge site. The hill in the background, looking out over the bay there. And just that, you can see that red and cream building there. There's another like bar cum cafe where you can, I forgot about that one when I said you have to go to Abergele, but they're open at certain times of the year as well, where you know you can get the usual foods and bacon sandwiches and teas and things, and beer if you want them. So maybe just on the side of the hill up there, make out like a castle turret, and it's part of Gurek Castle, which we'll see a little bit later on, which is the location where the Ant and Dec I'm a Celebrity thing was filmed when they did it in Wales instead of being able to get over to Australia. So I'll pick the castle up a little bit later on, another mile or two. But just admire the view. Right, so we're coming back into, I guess it's a slightly built up area, but more like caravan type things, and obviously the concrete breakwalls are here. Not one of the flood defence systems, but as you can see we're coming onto Pensarn Beach, and there's a couple of little houses just on the right hand side here, and we go through the bar gate, or around the bar gate, into the road that runs adjacent to this, you know, between the sea wall and the caravan site at Pensarn really. So we're just going to carry on walking along here, hopefully get back in the sunshine soon. Quite a significant difference in the air temperatures today with being in the shade. A little bit of a breeze as you can see on the Welsh flag there, but not too bad. It's not as noisy as it was last week when we walked around the Great Orme on the last video, but we'll just proceed along here. The caravan sites are obviously quite quiet at this time of year because a lot of them close down for the winter. But in the summer obviously it's very popular. Well, I mentioned before about Gurek Castle, you can't really see it too well from here, but just between these caravans you can just see the tops of the turrets there as we're walking through this caravan site. So the tower that we pointed out before is just over there, and the rest of the castle just on the side of the hill over here. So this, we're actually approaching Abergele itself now, and you can see there's a little path that just goes left here. It just gets us off this one that's the road that goes into the caravan site. So I'm just going to follow this and then pick up what turns out to be the promenade. You see the tarmac, it's like a pink hue to it. The road bridge that goes over there takes you into Abergele itself if you need a break in there. Not much there to be honest, but there's a few shops and things. So I'm just going to take this turn and pick up the small seafront for Abergele. We'll walk through this. I'll highlight one or two of the little coffee bars as we go through. More like seaside, seaside chalet type things really. And then at the far end we'll pick up the railway station, show you where that is, and the coastal path walks alongside or adjacent to the railway track for the next couple of miles into Rhyl itself. So again, not much going on here today, but at least the weather's beautiful. Plus it's worthwhile mentioning all the wind farms as well that you can see all the way across here in Liverpool Bay. That it's quite abundant. You're either for it or against it. They're there now, and you know they're doing their thing. So you just start seeing now. I'll just walk over to this side where these guys are on the wall here, just on the right there. You can see the first of the few tea shops, but not many of them will be open at this time of year in January. But the one where the bigger one, the larger one, just towards the end of this row of them that sometimes stays open through the winter, where you can get, you know, your teas and coffees and stuff. So I'll show you a bit more as we get closer to it. So we're just coming to the end, I guess, of Prestatyn seafront. Again, as I've just shown you on the clip, there's nothing open at the moment here, but this is the building, the white one, where you will get served at this time of year. You can see there's a few cars here with dog walkers and such, but there's a sit-down cafe inside and an outdoor one if you want to brave sitting outside. So the next stop will be the railway station, which you can just see beyond that bridge there. We'll just go around this corner and pick that up. As we're walking across this sort of fairly ordinary section again, this is the first time we've been able to see the ridgeline of the Clwydians. And those of you that might have had a look at some of my Offa's Dyke videos that I posted last year, from sort of that area there through to the coast here, takes in the last 2 days of that 15-day walk from South Wales to North Wales. And this is the first time we see it, so we'll pick it up again a little bit later. Just going back in time again, it's a bit history sort of finding where this concrete protection wasn't here until I think it was the mid-80s, when there was an actual tidal surge, and this whole area here, all the way for miles and miles and miles along this coast, was flooded by the sea. And obviously houses were lost, or you know, severely damaged, property, etc. Railway lines underwater, and it was necessary. We've seen some other sea defences back as we were leaving Colwyn Bay today, and there's some more that I'm going to find and point to you when we get to Rhyl, which is in the distance there, where without it, I mean, that was back in the 80s, before global warming became the thing that it is today. But with tides rising, you know they're necessary, and this is a great example of where it actually stopped that tragedy happening again. So we've just done that section now that basically leaves Prestatyn. We come up onto this mound, this concrete, and you've got two choices here if you're doing this walk. There is this higher level path where the railing goes, follows the road down at the bottom. Because of the wind and things today, I'm going to stay down the bottom, but it's the same thing, but you can just make that choice. You just go down these few steps here, work your way around. I'll just stay low, and about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile maybe, it meets up and we carry on along the coastal path. So I'll just show you down the bottom here. Obviously there's no through there, but you don't tend to get much traffic here, but I think some of the industrial wagons that service there's a fairground that's here in the, you know, in the summer months and things, so I think that helps service that. But you don't really get any traffic down here. As you can see, it's just a concrete path. There's other people walking up on the top one here, but you can see this signage on the right hand side indicates that this is the actual official path, well, certainly for the cycle route anyway, but it doesn't really matter. So we're about halfway along this stretch, and this is where that park for the fun fair is, you know, as you can see, as I said, it's going to be closed down, but there are some steps here, so why don't we, might as well see that you've seen the bottom section, which is quite mundane. We'll go up the steps onto the top section. This does allow people to go over to the beach. Might as well just have a quick look. Tide's coming in now. Near the wind picking up. Quite, you know, a lot of people have issues with North Wales, but I mean it is a nice stretch of coastline. I'll go back down just these few steps here, and we'll take this final stretch of this piece along this top wall, and at least you've been able to see the lower level and the top level, which is I suppose what this video is about, giving you a chance to see it if you're thinking of having a go, or if indeed if you've done it in the past, reminiscing. So what we're doing now is heading to where the next lot of caravans are. Once this path ends, we're going into a little town called Towyn, which links Abergele and Pensarn, where we've just left, to Rhyl, which is obviously the largest town in this stretch of the coast, where we'll be going along the seafront there. So as you can see, it's just a lot of marching along this concrete path. Got seagull to keep you company. The moon's out up there in the sky still from last night. Another good view of the Clwydians in the background, all the way down there. So it's a great walk. If, you know, the Offers Dyke one that I did last year, obviously you can do different sections of it that are fairly close to Prestatyn, where we're ending up today, and where the Offers Dyke finishes. The last section being from a little town. You might, I don't think you'll make it out in this with this lens, but there's an aerial mast just over there, and that's like where the last day starts, and from that mast through to the beach at Prestatyn, it's 12 miles-ish, around about that, which is, you know, just coincidental with the distance I'm doing today along this flat stretch of the coastal path. But I'll shut up for now and show you a bit more in a second. So we're coming up now to where the two paths converge, the lower one that I was on before and this one that I'm marching on now. We're basically going to cut round to the right and go in front of that next row of caravans. So we're coming into Towyn now, and we've probably got I don't know, maybe a mile to go towards Rhyl, where we'll stop off and have a cup of tea, all being well, if they're open, and we'll pick from there. So I'll open up the video again as we're getting halfway past these caravans, get a bit closer to the wind farm there. You can see it's a bit clearer to see in the distance there. It's not much else to see yet, but just pointing out the salient bits for your navigation.